Alright guys, welcome back to Wickenburg, where I'm going to show you in this video how we go from this just painted up plastic styrene sheet to a little bit of road markings, and then finally to this area right here. And this is basically how it's all going to look as it goes down the center of the road. Anyhow, if you want to see how that's all done, then stay tuned and watch the video. We'll be back right away. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For a 7% discount on your purchases, use code BNSF6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome graphics for your streets and roads on your model layout. Check it out. Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Vinny Vid Productions video. I am Vinny, your host, also known as BNSF6951. This is a model railroad channel, so if you guys are interested in run-up sessions, scratch builds, live streams, prototypes, and everything related to model railroads, this is the channel for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there, hit the bell that's up there, and give me those too. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's get on with the video, so come on in. Alright guys, you're looking at more of the roads in Wickenburg, and as you can see, as a continuation from my last video, that this section right here is pretty much the way I want to get it. And I even put the stripes on the outside, because just don't forget, as I mentioned, this is actually going to be a 2-lane in one direction with the center turning lane, so I put the stripes here to represent that this is one of those lanes. Anyhow, as you can see, I put some turn arrows in place here. I'm going to be putting turn arrows here, but my question is, I don't know where to put those. I don't know if I should put it here or if I should put it in the turning lane, saying that there's a railroad crossing coming up on that side and also on this side. I don't know if I should put one in the middle of this. Let me see, I get the, oops, sorry, I hit the record button. I don't know if I should put one in the middle of this intersection or if I should put it on the back side of this road. I am confused about that. I don't know exactly where to do that. Anyhow, I'm going to go continue, and I'm not going to show you how it's done because I already showed you, but how I got the distance between the solid line and the stripe line is I measured 1 scale foot out and then just drew a line and then just used my my car method to judge the difference in between each of the lines. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and finish up as much as I can, and then we'll move on to something a little bit different. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, up till now you've been watching me putting stripes and all kinds of different graphics on my roads here in Wickenburg. I have a habit of doing something on my layout or doing something to a scratch build, leave it go for a day or two, walk past it, look at it, and decide, you know, if it looks good the way it is, I'll continue on it. If not, I will make changes at that point. And the same goes for my roads. I have decided that why would there be so much turning lane if there's no place to turn? So what I'm going to do is on each one of these roads that I've done so far, I'm going to put a center island in there. And it'll go in there just like this, and I will dress this up with some scenery and stuff like that, and I think this is going to make a little bit of an improvement. So what will happen is, alright guys, so what's going to happen now is we're going to take this out to the workbench, and we're going to start dressing this up to make it look like a little island in the middle of the road. And I'm going to do that for this section, and I'm going to do it for this section down here also. Unfortunately, I thought about it after I already used up a lot of the highways and byway striping, but oh well. I could leave it just the way it is, but I think it would be a little more interesting if we have something dressing up the road beside the stripes. Anyhow, let's get out to the workbench and let's see how we're going to do all of this. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Alright Alright guys, we are now at my work area in front of my computer, and what we have here is a piece of sheet styrene. It is 1 millimeter thick and it is 19 millimeters across, and then we're going to use this number 116 styrene strip. It's 15 thousandths by 125 thousandths. And what we're going to do is to give ourselves a little place for us to put some scenic material in there, is we're going to build up a little curb around the outside of this. And actually, if I had, I think probably a number 115 would be a little bit better. It wouldn't be as tall. But with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to start gluing on the straight. We're going to leave enough overhang here so we could fill this in. But the reason I want to do the straight is because we have this curve here, and then we have this pretty big curve down on this end, if you can see that. So we're going to use my trusty Model Masters glue, and we're just going to go ahead and start doing this. And I have wax paper down here so it will not stick to the mat, hopefully. And we're just going to go ahead and do this slow. It's going to be a slow process. I may have to take 2 days just to do this little curb thingy, and I'm starting it on the side that you would see, because there'll be a seam, and I want the seam to be in the back where people cannot see it. So with that being said, let's get going. I'm not too worried about the glue that I see inside of here, because this is all going to get covered with scenic material, so it doesn't matter that I'm not very neat here in the top. In fact, the rest of this I might just put a bead down on the corner here, and we'll see how that works. But you see, if it was on the mat, it would stick, and it was trying to stick to this wax paper. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and continue on this, at least get this straight part done for now. Make sure it's dry solid before I go around the curve. Anyhow, we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, I think that this here is dry enough now for me to go around this curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pull it around and just hold it against the side here. And I'm just going to put glue on the inside of the seam just to give it some adhesion. Come on, glue, there you go. And like I said, I really don't care about what the inside's going to look like, because there'll be scenic material in there. I'll also come down this way a little bit. And we'll just hold this here for a few minutes and let it cure up a bit, and then we will continue. Alright, well, it's not going to be any fun watching me hold this stuff, so we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, this is what we have so far. I've got my straight along this entire edge right here, and I got my curve that worked out really nice. And by the way, I freehand that curve when I cut it with a pair of scissors. And as you can see, we're down this side. Now the next thing we're going to do is this last piece right here. And then we'll close this piece up right here, and we should be almost ready to do some scenery stuff in here. So I'm going to put this piece on, and I made it long again, just so I can go ahead and do it without wasting any time. And I'm going to put it right up against this other guy. And when this is cured, I'm going to take a small piece of this and put it on the outside, kind of like as a splice, just to hold it together. And you won't see that because it'll be on the other side of the viewing angle. So we'll go ahead and get on with this here. So now this one here, let's see, we'll get him to stand up a bit. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put a bead down the seam for the first inch or so. And we'll let that dry up, and then we'll proceed with the rest of it. Alright, and we're just gonna, again, It's not very exciting. It's like watching paint dry, but this is the procedure you got to do. And again, I keep on saying it. This hobby you guys need to have patience when you're working on your stuff. Anyhow, again, with that being said, we will be back shortly. Alright guys, so I did all the outside skirting, I guess if you want to call it that. As you can see, it's all done in here, all the way around, and I did put a little splice plate inside of here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. But just so it keeps this flush, and that's on the inside, so you won't see that. And this will be sitting on the layout this way, with viewing from this angle here, so you won't see that. So the next step is I'm going to make sure that it fits in the spot that I'm making this for, and we'll let this dry overnight, and then we'll start filling in the scenic stuff. So anyhow, with that being said, we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, as you can see, I made 3 of these islands, this one here being the biggest one, and I'll show you later on where this all is going to go. So now what we're going to do is, well, first of all, I went ahead and I already painted these, and what I used was this sample jar from Home Depot. I just picked out a gray, I don't know if you can see it there, and had this jar made for $3.95, and then I've had this jar for probably a couple of years now. You're also going to need some glue, which is going to be 50-50. Some ground cover material. This is the stuff that I made out of my own dirt. Some isopropyl alcohol, and this is like 91%. And then we're going to need some clump foliage, some mixed grass, weeds, and so on and so forth there, and then also some yellow grass. And this is only going to be the beginning of it. I have other stuff that I'll be putting on here, but just to get these to look a little bit more like what they're supposed to look like, we're going to go ahead and do this. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start doing some of the scenery work. So what we're going to do first in here is we're going to lay some dirt down, and that would be here. And I do my dirt very simple, just with a spoon, and I just sprinkle it in there. So we just go ahead and do this. Alright guys, so now I have my base coat down, and what we're going to do next is just going to add a little bit of some green, and then we're going to add some of the clump foliage, which I have already broken down into smaller pieces so they look a little bit more close to the scale. And I keep bumping this and these things are falling all over the place. Sorry about that. And like I said, there'll be more stuff that I'll be adding onto this, like cactus and so on, and a couple of trees maybe, or whatever. Again, I'm going to use the spoon method, and we're not going to put too much on there, just enough to give it some color, because there's not really that much grass that grows here, only in manicured places. But we need to give this a little bit of color. So, with that being said, we just Alright guys, so now that this is all got glue in it and stuff like that, what we can do now is we can take some of these little clump foliage and we'll just stick it in any old places that we can see. Like I said, there'll be more stuff going on here later on, so we're not going to put too many of these, just enough to give it a little bit of a color and a little bit of depth. And then eventually I'll go out and get some small rocks. In fact, I probably could even use some ballast in there, because basically most of our ground cover out here in Arizona is rocks. Everybody's got a rock garden in their front yard. Okay, so that's number one. And we'll let that one go for a while. We'll slide him out of the way. Move him over here. Now I may put some palm trees in this area. I mean, because that is one of our trees that you would find here in Arizona, some palm trees. So I might just do that. Alright, so there you go. So now we're just going to let this dry up, and we'll see what else we can do with this. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, as we continue on the construction of my center islands and my roads, I'm going to show you some of the products I'm going to be using for the scenery details on this part of the video. Anyhow, we're going to start off with some of these palm trees. These are Chinese specials. I just ordered like 40 of them for like 12 bucks, I think. And the stuff I'm going to show, I'm going to put part numbers also, because Bob at Yankee Dabbler told me that if I give him part numbers of stuff, he'll try and stock it in his stores. Anyhow, I'm going to be using this here JTT. It says HO scale, but I don't think there's any really size for plant matter. This is number 95603, and it's called Golden Grass, and they're tufts that I will be using sporadically through the scenery in this area. Also, been using this here Realistic Trees by Woodland Scenics. Haha, really. And the number for this is TR1501. If you guys can see that number right on top of my thumb, or right near my thumb. Anyhow, these I'm going to scatter around on the sidewalks in the town of Wickenburg, just to give the sidewalks a little bit of modification, if you want to call it that. Then these cactus right here, you guys can see these cacti, of course there's more than two, or there's more than one. I will be getting this from a company called Pegasus Hobbies, and this is cactus number 2, and there also is a cactus number 1. Now, a lot of this stuff I purchased many years ago, and I didn't think that this company would still be around. But it's not the company I bought this from. It's the companies that it's the stores that sell this product. So I don't know what the company is. Anyhow, the number is 6507 and 6508. If you guys want to get some cactus in your layout. All right. Well, the next thing I'm going to be using is, I guess you would call part of the scenery, are utility poles. Can you guys see that? How can I make you see this better? Let's see. Alright, maybe this. Yeah, there you go. Now, I've been buying these utility poles since I started doing N scale, and the reason why I bought them is, first of all, they're fairly cheap. I mean, they're just a basic utility pole, and please, don't call it a telephone pole. I got yelled at for calling it a telephone pole. Anyhow, you can detail them out. Like what I'm going to do with these, and I'll show you here in a minute, is I'm going to go ahead and repaint them, and then maybe even do a gray dry brush on them and so forth. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and paint the insulators on there or not. Don't know that. But anyhow, the reason why I like these is, watch this. Can you guys see that? And then the whoop goes right back. And so the reason why I buy them is because of that. When you have these on your layout and you accidentally hit one with your elbow or your hand or something like that, they don't break. I mean, yeah, you could break them. I mean, I have broken a couple of these, but the simple fact that right off the get-go you can do this and nothing happens. So anyhow, what I'm going to do with these next is, which I already started doing it, is I put them on this piece of styrofoam. And there are 26 of them here that I'm going to be using just in the town of Wickenburg. And I'm going to go ahead and give them a spray with this, what's it called? Satin Espresso. Then maybe I'll see how they look after they're sprayed. Maybe I will do like a gray dry brush over them just to give them, make them look a little bit more old or whatever. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead out to my garage and spray these up, and we'll see what happens after that. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Oh yeah, and by the way, I am expecting one more package of cacti from JTT products. So when I get that, I will show you that also. It should have been here today, but apparently it wasn't. So hopefully tomorrow. Anyhow, we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, these are the utility poles all painted up, and I don't know you guys can actually see the difference with the one I'm holding in my hand against the ones that I painted here. Anyhow, I forgot to tell you where I got these from. These were an eBay item, and the eBay seller is Tiny Trains. Just punch in N-scale utility poles and he will shoot right up. They come in a package like this, and I had bought 5 packs, 12 in each pack, so that was 60 of these utility poles I just purchased, and I will probably have use for all of them. Anyhow, with that being said, let's carry on with the rest of this video. So stay tuned and we will be back right away. Alright guys, we're going to begin to construct this part of the island. As you can see, I've already got one palm tree mounted. I just drilled a hole to the closest size of the mounting stem that's on the bottom of the tree here. You can see that. And these actually have to get cut a little bit shorter. They still protrude past the bottom. But anyhow, I'll just go ahead and poke that in the hole right there. And as you can see, we already got the start of a pretty cool looking island. Now I'm going to take my little tufts, the golden whatever it was called, and I'm just going to lay them anywhere just to see how it looks. And this one that's broken, I'm just going to wrap it around that other little green one that's right there, so it'll look like the green one actually stopped it from growing. Then I'll put another one right there. Anyhow, that is the beginning of it, and then we are going to try to install these these two cacti. We'll put one over here and one over there, and then don't forget I told you earlier that there is more cactus coming in a few days. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue these guys down, and we're just going to use regular Elmer's glue. This is straight. And we'll just put a little dabby do on here. Just a little guy right there. And then a little guy right there. And then there was another one right there instead. And then one here. Alright, so now it's just a matter of just taking these guys, put them in there and give them a little push down. Now when I do the larger scenic areas, I'm probably going to try making my own little tufts with my static grass applicator that Roy Hardwick had got me about a year ago. Anyhow, as you can see, that's how that's going to be. Now, the next problem I'm going to have is to put these in there, because these do not have any kind of a mounting thing down here. At least I don't think they did. So we're going to use just a different glue. We're just going to use my regular glue. But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to flatten that out a bit. I know I got some sandpaper or an emery board up here somewhere. I think I have the worst bench in the world when it comes to finding stuff. I guess I don't. Dang it. Alright, well, let me find an emery board and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Yeah, it figures. It was right in front of my nose like everything else. I just need to clean up this table and organize it a bit. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is take this cactus, and I'm just going to go ahead and try and give it a flat bottom, or as flat as I can get it. And then we're just going to use my Model Masters glue to glue them down. Of course, that dries fairly quick. And I think that might be okay. And then we got to do this one. This one's pretty flat already, but we'll just make sure. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and take my Model Masters glue, and I am going to put a dab on the surface of the dirt so I can get a nice big glob down there. I want a nice big glob. And then we're going to take my cactus and stick it right in there. And we're going to hold it for a second or two. I'll tell you just a little bit I've done so far, and this area is really going to look awesome when it gets done. And I'm not bragging because it's my layout, it's just that because of all the detail stuff. And it is about on my 5'8" body, the upper level is about my chin height, so it's actually a pretty good viewing angle for N scale. So let's see if that's going to stay there. Anyhow, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me hold this until it dries. I'll bring you back when this little section is done. Alright, we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, now we're out at the layout, and I'm going to show you all the progress I've made on the road so far. We're going to start at this end right here, because this is the constant, is right here, is this wall. So this road will not get secured until it's all the way up against that wall. And then everything along the line will get adjusted to this road. Anyhow, we'll start here, and that's the depot, which is now being used as the city council building. In the back, the building closest to the opening in the wall, that's the maintenance away. Then we got two small businesses there, and then of course we got the Sparky and Joe G building. Anyhow, we'll continue on. Here is some of those islands that I was building, and then we got the streets going across here, and as you can see I have one crossing gate there. I put some different graphics here. I need to get a couple more railroad crossings because I decided to put them in the center right here. And then we got a little locomotive and boxcar action right there. A little bit of traffic on the roads here. And I thought, oops, and these will not get glued down right away only because of what just happened. I've been catching my shirt on the top of these palm trees, so I don't know if this is a good idea to have these palm trees here in the front. Anyhow, I put the railroad crossing here on this to warn the people that are going to be making the turn that there is a railroad crossing right there. It was too small to put right here. Anyhow, the crossing gate will go there just as it was in the other. There'll be 3 total, and maybe eventually I'll put them on the back side of the track. As you can see, I put the railroad crossing in the intersection right there. I think that made sense to me, so you can see it. Different graphics right here. Then again, railroad crossing here to warn the people that there is a railroad crossing when they get across the street there. And as I told you guys earlier, those little trees right there, I gave you the part number for those. Here's my utility poles, all painted up and in place. Of course, they won't be in there until I put the scenery down. And all the way up to here. So, with all of that being said, I think this is coming along really, really nice. So, in the next video, we're going to start doing ground cover from the road back to the track. And then on the other side of the track, we're going to try and get that all done. And I'm going to try and use my static grass applicator that Roy Hardwick got me about a year ago. Anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the bell, like, share, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now. BNSF 6951 and the Cuz out for now.